Hey everybody, this is Graham here at therecordingrevolution.com. Hope you're having an awesome week. This is going to be the second installment in our DAW University tutorial series. Last time we talked about session workflow, how to make sure you don't lose things in your projects. This week I want to talk about building a template. Okay, templates are real easy, real simple tools, but what they are time savers. Time savers for recording, time savers for mixing. And so if you're not using a template already, you need to start today. These will really help you out. So let me show you what I mean. And again, this is applicable to all recording software, not just Pro Tools, even though that's what I'll be using today. So what I'm going to do is create a new session in Pro Tools. I'm going to start with a blank session. And I'm going to set it up with my typical settings, 24-bit, 44.1 wave files. And I'm going to save it to my audio drive, and I'm going to call it songwriting template. Okay, so it's like I'm creating a regular session. That's what you're going to do, is create a brand new session in your software, but name it something appropriate like songwriting template, recording template, etc. And I'm going to launch it, and here we are, a blank Pro Tools session. We got nothing in it. And what we're going to do is basically create some tracks and set some preferences and get things kind of set up with even some plugins and some virtual instruments. And then we're going to save that as a starting point for future sessions. I'm not even going to record anything today, but we're getting things ready. So the first thing I like to do with songwriting is I like to have some tracks for acoustic guitar and vocals. So I'm just going to create maybe 2 mono audio tracks for vocals and another couple for acoustic guitar. So 4 mono audio tracks. And I also like to have a couple of stereo instrument tracks for, like drum loops or keys or something. Have a couple of those. And then I'm going to create a stereo aux track that I can put like a delay or reverb on, and I'm also going to create a stereo master fader. So there they are, and I go ahead and name stuff in templates, and again, you're going to be able to change this. So I'm going to do Vox, Vox Harmony, guitar 2. So those 4 tracks are labeled. Let's see, these instrument tracks, I'm going to do drums, and then I'll label this keys, and then this aux track I'll put delay, because I'm a sucker for some delay, and master is fine. Okay, so all I've done is created blank tracks, and there they are in the mix window, and I've named them. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the inputs to these audio tracks. So if you have a real simple audio interface, you probably have at least 1 or 2 inputs. And so most of the time you're going to be using input 1, I'm sure. So this is already set to use input 1 and 2, but I know I'm going to record a lot through my ADAT input, and so I'm going to set that to input A.1. Set that to A.1 also, because I'm going to record these one at a time. All these really, I'm going to probably record in the same channel. So I'm going ahead and setting up my inputs, now, to save myself some time later, because that's where I know I'm going to plug in my mic or, yeah, exactly. So you can get that set up. On the drum channel, I'm going to go ahead and put an instrument plug-in, and use what's called Strike here. And Strike is a really cool virtual drummer for Pro Tools. But if you have something like Easy Drummer or Superior Drummer or BFD, if you're a Pro Tools, you can use BFD Lite that comes with your Pro Tools LE system. But any kind of, you can use Expand, you can use a sampler, but I just put in a plugin here that's got some drums. And then for keys, I'm going to open up Expand, which is an awesome free plugin for all Pro Tools systems. And most DAWs have something like this, like a general toolbox for sounds. You open up one of these guys and they're going to have piano patches, string patches, even drum patches, and you could go ahead and pull one. Let's see, you know, like a Mark II tremolo keyboard patch. The delay, I'm going to go ahead and pick, you know, let's say the aerodynamic delay from Pro Tools. And, you know, pick a preset like 16th delay. That's already set up. Now, if you know about using delays and reverbs as an aux send, then you know that you need to send tracks to it. So the delay is on this track. I'm going to go ahead and set that up. I'm going to make its input, you know, an open bus, 29, 30. And then I'm going to go ahead and take these two vocal tracks and give them sends to the same bus, 2930. Okay, so now they'll already be set up with sends to the delay, and the delay goes to my main output. So I can play with those effects later, you know, and if you're in Pro Tools, you can go ahead and rename that bus delay or Vox delay. All right, and the name shows up there as well. And, you know, pretty much that's all I need, let's say, right now. Set up some preferences, maybe. And here's a good one, auto backup. I want to keep, you know, 10 most recent backups. I want you to back up every 3 minutes. You can crank this even higher and back up every 1 minute if you want, but make sure, let's say you've got your auto backup set up. So that's a nice feature to make sure I've got that preference in my template. So if I'm writing and then my computer crashes or Pro Tools crashes, I won't have lost my ideas. So you can go ahead and set preferences, and then you can even set views. You know, I don't need to see, let's say, the minutes and seconds. I don't need to see the inserts on this track or the delay sends, excuse me. And I can make the tracks a little smaller. And yeah, so that is set up for me to record. Basically, I've got tracks, I've got virtual instruments to play with, I've got my input set, and I've got a delay, and I got a master fader. And so I'm pretty much, that's something I would set up so I could start working. Now the key is to save this and to start from this. Now in Pro Tools 8, they finally added save as template, which is great. So you would just go to File, Save as Template, and then what you can do is they have categories already. So you could put it in a songwriter category, and you could call it, again, you could name it something different from here. So I could call this, you know, let's say, yeah, I'll call it Graham's template. And, or if you want, you can select a separate location, but now I'm going to click OK. Now, if I close out of this and don't save. Now, if I quit Pro Tools, let's say, and I'm done for the day, but then tomorrow I want to wake up, I want to write something. So I come in, I fire up my interface, I load Pro Tools. The beauty of Pro Tools now is the start page, and other programs have this too, where they're going to, Logic has this, Studio One has this. It's going to load your software, and then it's going to say, hey, do you want to start with a recent session, or do you want to start from a template? And so we want to start from a template. So here is the create session from template option, and then there it is in Songwriter. There's Graham's template. So I want to click OK. And now they want you to name it something, because it's now going to be a separate session. So I'll save it on my audio drive and call it you know, Jam 2, because I don't have a good name for it yet. So it's going to open up the session. It has all my tracks set up, everything I need, Vox, the instruments, plugins. It's good to go. So now I don't have to worry about creating any tracks. I can just arm record and go. Now again, if you're not in a DAW that allows you to save it as a template necessarily, don't be worried. Just simply file, save it as your original template. You know, I had labeled mine Graham's template. So it is a blank session. Now when you want to start a song, what you do is simply fire open that template session, And instead of recording in that session, then you would simply file, save as, and rename the session there. And then you're working on a different session than your actual template and has a new name, but at least you started with already created tracks. Does that make sense? So it's the same principle. Open up a blank session, create your template, save it with a name, and then that's your starting point. You just simply open it and save as, rename it, and then you're working for real. All right, and that's it, guys. That's building templates in your DAW. Start building songwriting templates, maybe band recording templates if you work with your band every once in a while, or mixing templates. Set up your sends and delays and everything you want and save them. They're a great way to start working and save time, okay? Thanks for watching, guys. Again, this is Graham at therecordingrevolution.com. We've got a lot of great articles and videos always happening on the site. And if you just check this out on YouTube, why don't you head over to the site and download the free ebook, The #1 Rule of Home Recording. If you haven't gotten that yet, sign up for the newsletter and get the free ebook instantly. I think it'll really help you in all your recordings, okay? Thanks a lot, guys. Talk to you soon.